Hi everyone, welcome to Droid Print, and I'm going to be working on a really quick droid. This is the EC-1 Helper Droid from Droid Division and AstroWaz. They kind of work together on this. I believe the story is that AstroWaz created the design and then Droid Division then sort of made it happen, as it were. Now this is a bonus file that you get if you have ever bought the Pit Droid, the non-animated Pit Droid. Then there's a Pit Droid 2023 update, and then in the 2023 update folder, there is a link to the EC-1 Helper as a free file. So basically, buy the normal Pit Droid, and then you'll eventually get the file. I think it's probably some of the other ones as well. I think Dave's putting this in with all the big files and the most popular files. You see, there's not much to it. Yeah, we've got the stands, we've got the heads. That's the body. We've got the booster. This is like the bottom. Essentially what this looks like is it will kind of look like it's floating in the air like this. And wobbly. Yeah, it's pretty much all there is to it. You don't have to glue a lot of this stuff. It can be held together with dowels. So there's like dowel holes in there. And yeah, there's only a couple of bits that need gluing. That's really just the eye lenses. Everything else can just be doweled together. The intention being that you would then want to later animate it. You can. I'm not sure how you'd animate this one. There's not anything to actually animate it. Maybe just make the flashing lights in the eyes, which is probably something I'll do later. This is being built for a Comic Con. Comic Con. I'm attending next week, so probably the week this gets released actually. So if you happen to be going to it with the Gloucestershire Troopers, we'll be at Gloucester Comic Con at GL1. Yeah, pop by saying hi. I'll hopefully have EC-1, which is the name of this droid here. There, he won't be painted because it's raining. I can only paint outside. And I'll also have a new one that I've been building that I haven't filmed because I just wanted to build it, and that's the Worker Droid, which is the droid from Episode 1, which collects all the pieces of the battle droids at the end of the fight and dumps it on like a bonfire of broken battle droids. I printed him, and he's just sort of next to Chopper behind me over his shoulder. Yeah, so as I said, this should be fairly quick. I just need to clean up the parts, dowel it together. I won't be able to paint it, unfortunately, because it is horrible. It's also getting dark, so it's dark, cold, and raining. Not a good combination for painting. Winter's here. Yay. Yeah, let's get on with it. So just to quickly go through the other parts you may need, apart from the printed bits, is you're going to need a load of the Droid Division dowels. And I have a shed load here. I've got loads left over from doing the Worker Droid. You won't need that many. Also going to need something for the aerials. You can print the aerials go in here. You can print out the aerials, but I have somewhere, I'll have to get out in a bit, the same aerials that I used on the Pit Droid, which are sort of little, I'm going to say ceramic, but they're not quite ceramic. Let's go ceramic. I can't quite remember what they're made out of. That little ceramic rods that you use in curtains. And I bought those years ago, and I've got loads left. I only used 2 on the Pit Droid. So I think I've still got enough left to do these. It's just 2 aerials that pop out of there. And then somewhere, like little end caps to go on there. Yeah, the only other thing you're going to need is you're going to need the sort of IKEA-style furniture bolts. You don't need these ends. You need the other sort of cap socket ends, which I've got in a drawer up there. You only need 2 30mm ones, and they're for the arms. That's it. Let me just bring down the rest of my PDF here. You need some wire mesh. Now, I've ordered some wire mesh, and it's not sent up until tomorrow, annoyingly. And that goes in here. And there's 3 sections. There's 3 sections there. Move that out a bit. Yeah, it's just 3 sections there, and that's where the mesh goes, and then put a bit of foam behind there. That's all you need there. So you need mesh for that. The antenna does say you can use 4mm. I can't even say it now. I was going to do it American. Aluminium rods, 4mm aluminium rods. I might actually. Oh. No, that's brass. Where are I? Just saw it. It's pinged off down here somewhere. There it is. I don't think these are aluminium. Oh, I need to sort that out. Might be a bit too thick, but it's maybe a bit too long. Actually, it's not thick enough. Something like that. So I could probably just cut that and glue it in. We'll see. I might have something that's actually the right size. We've got loads of bits of metal here from various different projects. Body pipes. So the PDF says loom wire tubing with an inner diameter of 5mm. Now I thought I had the right diameter loom because of building the proton pack. I will get back to that. The proton pack. But then looking at the size, where is it on this one? It's these big holes here. I was like, actually, the loom's a bit too wide for that, so I might not have what I need for that. And then the eye lens says use a Christmas tree bauble. Now, the baubles I've got are about that big, like R2 radar size. They're saying that I did cut one out of Lola. I did use one for me doing Lola. So that's like a Christmas bauble, and it's about the same size. So I think I still got the template. Wow, dusty. I think I still got the template for this. Try to not pip over. So yeah, so islands, some sort of loom pipe. You know what I mean? There's like the black flexible pipe that has like concentric rings around the outside of it, and it's called loom essentially. So let's get on. So start with the arms, which are somewhere in amongst all this lot. All right. So for the arms, you're going to print out two little bits like this, and they look a bit like paracetamol, to be honest. But they're very easy to mix up with the dowels. So when you print off a whole print of dowels and these on, just try not to get mixed up, because otherwise you'll be looking for them for ages and realise you suddenly plug these into the body somewhere. So keep them separate. So you've got those. You've got the arm itself, and these are identical. So the file says L or R. You just print it. You don't need to mirror it. So just print two of those. And as you can see, the little thing goes in there. Little shoulder thing goes there. That will glue in. And the other bits, the other two bits, we've got the shoulders. There's the shoulders. So this goes in the body, this bit here. So that goes in the body, and then this is the actual shoulder. Just take the support off, sort of plugs in there, and that's where you use the bolt. It's the only bolt you need. I'm not sure I have a 30mm bolt. Anyway, let's take the support off. It didn't print too well, actually, considering I put support there. It's a bit grotty, but oh well, fine. Anyway, so actually that looks a bit better, but even then, that's not brilliant. Oh well. All right. So again, these are just called L or R. It doesn't matter which ones because they are functionally identical. When you put the bolts in, the bolts are the same both sides. That's part of the eye. So there's a dowel. So those are those bits. Those are those bits. That's all there, and that's rubbish. So you take the shoulder like this with this bit at the bottom, and then you take your arm and this bit here should be at the top. So it ends up looking like that. And that's it. Just need to put a screw in. Do I have a 30mm bolt? 75, 65, 55, 45, 35. A bit too long. You get a couple of the caps. Those are the caps, I mean. Right. 30 might be a bit hard to get hold of. Just bear that in mind. I think 35 might be okay. We'll find out in a second. Right. Pop that in there. Pop that in there. Get the yellow one. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, 35 is fine. I've tightened up too much to move the shoulder, but 35 is fine. So just repeat for the other one. one day I'm going to do this and it's going to fly off and hit the monitor. All right. So that's the shoulders done. Easy. Right. Then we have the arm, and that is the arm. And we're going to very quickly glue. We're going to glue the little nodule in, and it's got a flat side and a curved side. You want the flat side in there, so it kind of looks like that. And then just repeat for the other one. It's a bit too much. Right. Also, I do like the bamboo's texture, the PEI plate. Although it's going to make some prints rather interesting, because I will have to get rid of them. Right. So now we have the arm with the weird shoulder module, with the shoulder, and you can see there's a cutout there. That's it. Done. And no, I'm not going to glue them. It specifically says not to, but actually, if it'd be easier for me to paint later, and that isn't going anywhere. That's the arm done. Told you to be quick. Right, we do need some glue for the eye. Just make sure that's clean. Yep. So we got one eye that glues on there, like that. Just goes in there and just pushes flat against that. So I'll quickly run some glue around there. Just put the arms over there. Do that. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but yes, there is a tumble dryer going on in here. If it isn't picking it up, you're probably wondering what the hell I'm on about. There, actually. Turn that round because I want to hide the seam. So I'll turn that around that way. So that's the other thing to be aware of. If you want to hide the seam, that's probably the best place to hide it is there, because there's now you can't see the seam at all. So just run some glue around there. And run a bit more around the inside, just to be sure. Right, glue that lens in. And then there's another lens. Which looks okay as well. Yeah, that doesn't need cleaning up. No, we could just clean this. Right, just quickly file that. And a tiny bit more. It's ever so slight elephant's foot, which is the first time I've ever come across elephant's foot on a bamboo printer. That's better, right. I just don't want to sand it too far and find that it now dips in instead. So again, a bit of glue around the inside back. Put the seam at the bottom. Yeah, put the seam at the side. Okay. Run that glue around again. There we go. That's not because I've got the glue bottle open. I generally just picked up a cough from somewhere. Right, there we go. Close that anyway. Glued those in. Need to clean at the bottom of the dome. Right, and there is that, which probably goes on the inside that I just glued. Okay, right. Sorry, the inner eye is confusing me. So you've got the inner eye section, which looks like that. Looks like a bit like a polo. And that will sit on this ridge around here. Just run the glue around. And I think we'll have the texture side out. Oh no, just push in. Okay, that's even more confusing. Right, so actually you push it in so it sits flush with that inner ring, inner ledge. That's even more confusing. Right, okay, it's in. Done. Right. And then we've got the other inner eye, which doesn't have an up or down. It will do. Let's quickly clean that out. Right, so this is the inner eye. And again, that's going to sit on this ledge right in the inside there. Allegedly. So it will sit in like this. So I need to try and line it up. It looks a bit like BB-8's dome. Just line it up, make sure that bit's level in the middle. And just run a bit of glue around the inside. Okay. Right. At this point, you could put 3mm LEDs in there and in there as well. That's kind of the extent of the animation you can do. What I'm going to do is just quickly clean up this brim before I move on to the next step. Decided something I'm going to mess around with on the bamboo is hiding the seam, a variable layer height, because I keep forgetting to turn that on, and maybe even scarf seam as well, just to hide where things are. Anyway, so we've got our head, cleaned up the brim as well, and now we're going to attach it to a neck ring. So just pop this over here, one part of the neck ring. That's the other part of the neck ring. Right. So let's look at this bit first. So this is part of the neck, and you've got these two cutouts here. And in those go these two bits, that look like little vents with a dot at the bottom. The dot will be the bottom. It goes in like that. And they just glue in. So we'll do that now. You don't need cleaning. I've also noticed AutoSlicer decides whether it wants to do brims or not. So do brim on those, but didn't do brim on these. Which, it's fine with me. It's less to clean up, but it'd be nice if I knew the criteria for that. Run a lot apparently, of glue around here. Way too much. Right. Right. That's that bit done. So that's glued on both sides like that. This is a massive great big hole. That's for this dowel here. It'll go in like that. We'll come to that in a minute. Just notice this one also needs clean up, so I'll quickly do that now. So that's cleaned up. So this is where the dowels come in. I'll come back to the antennas because I need to go find the bits for the antennas. But as I said, those bits go on top of the antennas. Glue the detail parts to the neck, and then use the dowels connectors to the neck ring. So dowels, a nice snug fit. Yeah, and these dowels are snug. So the neck ring goes up like that. Honestly, I might just glue that. Let's check how loose the dome is on top. You see there's cutouts here for where the holes go. Well, that is going to be a nice snug fit. Okay. So let's glue the dowels and the neck ring down. So you might find your own printer tolerances that those dowels are a lot more friction fit, but I've just glued this down, and I think that'll be fine. Right, as I showed before, obviously this is the front. There's dowel cutouts, and there's one dowel cutout that matches up where the front of the face goes. There's also the dowels themselves also match up. So there's a cutout, there's a dowel in front of the vent, and a dowel in front of the vent. Doesn't matter which way around that goes. Might be too much of a friction fit. So a slight elephant's foot again. There we go. That's not going anywhere. This is a cute little guy, isn't it? Right, that is the head and neck done. So this is where this dowel comes in. You can use a 100mm, 10 centimeter length of pole in the center of the neck to join the body. Yeah, so it's 10 centimeters long, end to end, and it's 19mm, 3/4 of an inch in diameter. So that's 3/4 of an inch, 19mm. So that should go in there. Yeah, I can see where that's going. So you go in there, and then you go. Oh, I see. I see. I see. Oh yeah, don't glue the dome on. You might want to be able to need to do repairs to the LEDs if you do LEDs. Likewise, I need to go back in a bit and put the mesh in when the mesh turns up, and the foam, and get to the batteries as well. Pop you there. You're well and truly stuck in there. Right, so we look at the body. Two parts to print. They are mirrored, so one is labelled right, so you don't need to mirror it to get the other side. Actually, no, you don't. No, you didn't. Just print two halves. They go together. They're identical. I didn't have to mirror it. Idiot. What I'm going to do, clean the brim up. Right, so we're ready for the body. We'll start off with the sort of the booster section. You see here there's a cutout, and again there's like a little vent, and that will just glue in there. So we'll glue that before I drop it. In case you're wondering, using my normal EMA Plasti World. I can't remember what they call it in the US. Don't put that back on. And we've also got these two little caps on here, and each one just glues on either side here. And I'm going to hide the seam on this little section. I'm going to attempt to anyway. Run you around. Trying to avoid all the glue marks on it, but failing with that. Maybe the seam would have been better at the bottom. Never mind. Less visible. Right. So that's the booster ready. One thing I forgot to mention is you're going to need a clear rod here to go to the base. I've ordered the clear rod as well. Let me just quickly scroll back up and find out what the size of the clear rod was. A 10 millimeter diameter rod, 10 inches in length. There's a nice change in there in sizes for you. 10 inches, that's about 20 centimeters. No, that's rubbish. 10 inches is 25 centimeters. So 10 millimeters diameter, 25 centimeters in length. Just going to have him sat about there. Again, that's turning it tomorrow, so I can't put it into the base just yet. Right, body. As I said, these are identical. They just print two, and they'll just go together like this. Nice, satisfying thunk. Pop some dowels in. Now it does. There's actually one of those hands. Didn't need those. It does say not to glue this together until you're sure that that fits okay in here. So I'm going to do it this way. I put the dowels in. I put the neck dowel in. I put the two pieces together. That's fine. It's fine. You can, as I said, this is a printable version that's in the files. You can make your own dowel if you want. I think I just use the printed one. So let's glue you together. Oh, the pipes fit between this and the boost. Right, I see. Sorry, I misread the instructions. So yes, this needs gluing. I'll explain why I misread it in a second. Try not to get any glue in the channels of the dowels, for these dowels here. Right, when I come to paint this, I am going to need to sand it. There's a very definite join line between the two parts here. But just for the weekend, it'll be fine. Okay. A bit more pressure. Okay. Leave that to dry for a few minutes. While I wait for that to dry, this is the stuff I meant. This is what they call flexible conduit. If it's got a cut all the way down the side, it's called wire loom. Essentially the same thing. Unfortunately, this is 20mm diameter. I need 5mm, so it's a bit too big. But this is the sort of stuff I mean. So 5mm. I'll try B&Q later, but this is the sort of stuff I mean. So I dug out the antennas I used on the pit droids, and you can see it. Well, I don't know how well you will be able to see it. It's kind of like a fibrous ceramic pole. I bought it from a furnishing place online. I can't even remember where I bought it from. But I've just checked it against the head. It's almost there. If I need to drill this hole out a bit, and I think it'll fit fine. Likewise, I probably have to drill the hole out here as well. But if you put any pressure against the ends, they start to fray like a bit like a cheese string. But I bought a lot, and that's all I have left. So I only need to use 2 little bits for the antennas, luckily. But I'll see if I honestly can't remember what they're called or where I got them from. So I'm not even going to attempt to put a description in the link. Just curtain pole rods, Venetian blind rods. Venetian blind rods. I think that's what they are. It's the little twisty thing you turn when you turn in a blind. I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is. Just try looking for those. They're about the right diameter. All right. You should be dry by now. So booster. And then you go on here. So we need some dowels in here. And it's 6 dowels. I've printed so many dowels. Still going to have loads left. So the dowels go in there. And I think likewise I'm going to glue these dowels in. And then they will line up like that. And you can see here we've got these circles here and then underneath, and the same on the back. Say the back and front's more. Oh, that's the front. This is where you put those little 5mm conduit loom things, and they sort of push in. So I think that's why Dave says don't glue them in yet until you're sure the pipes are the right length to go in. So I'm going to follow that lead. I'm not going to glue them in. I'm going to try and find the 5mm dowels. However, will it stand up without it? No, doesn't the answer to that. Anyway, so let's. So I'm going to glue this side in, these dowels on this side. Don't worry, I'm not gluing it. Just checking they still line up. Excellent. Right, I need to leave that to dry, otherwise I'm going to end up sticking it together. So let's look at this bit. So we've got the massive dowel. He goes in there. The head then sits on there like that. I think I'm going to keep the spin. Now the question is, which bit is spinning? The head's spinning. The head's spinning. So I'm thinking maybe I keep this dowel. Didn't say he glues that dowel in. I suppose you're using curtain pole, you wouldn't be going to glue it in, would you? I'm going to leave that as is. So it's easier for transport as well. So, and then actually, now we can put his arms in. So his arms go in. Cool, that's tight. These are not coming out. Right. Okay, just push them in until they stop. So you'll find there's a bit of a gap. No, it doesn't seem to want to go any further. So that's fine with me. Take the head off. Lose it out. So I haven't sanded any of this other than just clean up the brim rings. As a result, that means I've now got a really nice tight fit here. Yeah, I think I might glue those arms in after it's been painted. And the arms all, that's it. Can't really animate it. There's not really a lot of room for servos. But right, take the booster. That'll be dry by now, so just pop this in. All right, let's pop his head on. We need the dowel that I just dropped. He's a happy little chap, isn't he? Right, I like him. You can see here, I mean, about the sections that you can tell it's been glued, so that'd be filled and painted when I can fill and paint. I like that. Right, stand you up there. We'll look at those antennas in a minute. That's for the other droid. That's rubbish. They're spares. They might as well go in the bin because they won't be used for anything else. Right, Now we're looking to turn our attention to the base. Now, there's a lot of room in here, and I'm assuming that's for batteries, but then you'd have the wires going through a clear pole, and there's a dowel in there that blocks any further access to the batteries. I suppose if you use a curtain rod, you then got access anyway. And it goes up into the head, and then, yeah, I suppose you could put batteries in here and microcontrollers to turn. You could even turn the head, put a little mini Lazy Susan in there. Could that be a Lazy Susan? Do you reckon you probably could change that to a Lazy Susan there? You know where those dowels were? And you could have it, I was saying that, it spins itself fine like that. You could probably just have a servo in there, moving the head. So, yeah, maybe you can animate it, and we'll have the head moving, at least have the eyes animated. Maybe not the antennas, there's not enough room for the antennas to retract. Yeah, and then have the wire going all the way through. So maybe I will replace that dowel with a bit of curtain pole. I do have spare curtain pole, but it's not 19mm. That's not 19mm, I don't think. Yeah, no way. No way. I suppose I could hollow that dowel out, actually. Give the same thing. Bits everywhere now. Right, the base. So printed flat like this, so no supports. This again printed flat, no supports. You saw the only thing I've had to take supports off so far is the edges of the shoulders. There was also supports just underneath the eye, both parts of the eye, and underneath these bits here. So there's supports running there, tree supports going back into the head. And those are painted on, and that's all it needed. Everything else printed flat or doesn't need support. As always, try and print the orientation that the file presents it in. Right, again, this is going to be dowels. So I think I'll put the dowels in here. And I imagine, like before, that's going to be quite loose. Yeah, we'll see. In fact, I'm always convinced it's going to be loose. Base. Print in two sections, dowels, no simple easy print. The lower part needs supports for the stand. Really? I don't need supports. There's a hole in the rear to allow for a cable. I was about to say, what's this cable hole for? If you wish to add LEDs to illuminate the base to add a real charge. Okay, yeah. So that's good. We can put a bit of styrene here and then light it up with an LED ring, sort of Alexa style. So, yeah. EC-1. How many days until Christmas? Could we get an Echo in there? Could that come out and put an Echo in there? Oh, but you can't rename it. You can't. Oh no, never mind. No, going off on tangent now. Could you put an Echo in there? You probably could. Would it respond to any word other than Echo, computer, or Alexa? No. But you probably could put a custom wake word Raspberry Pi or in Raspberry with its own custom open wake word on there. Does that? Sorry, I'm thinking to myself now. Certain things you can do, because of course, if you can do that, you can get to do custom wake words and get it to respond with a voice. Would you have a voice? Or would you beep? You'd probably beep. You look like a beeping droid rather than a droid with a voice. Yeah, if you get it to respond, you could then actually use those responses to animate the head and the lights. Anyway, glue the dowels in. Obviously, I want the glue to dry before I pop this on, but I'm going to quickly pop it on to show you. This is the back. I think that'd be pretty obvious. And like what, but for this, there doesn't appear to be a front or back. So just line the dowel holes up. That's it. Actually, that went together quite nicely. I said I'm not going to leave it together though, because otherwise it will glue itself together. And then the clear rod is going to go through here, up through the body, and then alive. Those are the antennas. I've still got those dowels left. I'm actually thinking I've got all these little organizer trays for screws. I'm thinking of just having a screw organizer full of Droid Division dowels. That's all I can do for now until the bits turn up tomorrow. So for you, it'll be about half a second. For me, it's going to be about 24 hours. I can't actually physically move the camera far enough away. There you go, that's better. So yeah, the last bits have turned up. So as you can see, I put him on his pole just because he was feeling a bit wobbly. Sat there on that end there. So we'll take him back off the pole and lay him down. And as you can see, it's just a clear acrylic rod. I thought it was going to be hollow, but it's not. So I've put the lid on. It's not glued, it's just placed on. And then we just push the rod in until it hits the end stop. And then underneath the droid, you can see there's a corresponding. Oh, it's the dowel inside. Yeah, you can see there's a corresponding hole in the middle of the booster, and then he just sits on like that until he hits the other end stop. And that's pretty much it for him. The other bits that have turned up, so I've got the mesh. I've decided what I'm going to do with the mesh is I'm going to cut it and I'm going to hot glue it in place because I need to be able to take the mesh back out again when I eventually get around to painting this thing. Pop that there. Yeah. So I'm going to hot glue the mesh behind, and I still should be able to just peel that off then and paint it without worrying about getting the mesh dirty. Likewise, I'm not. The instructions say to put foam behind the mesh as well. Hot glue and foam don't work well together; they melt, especially the thin foam. So I won't be putting the foam on, but essentially you put the mesh on, and then behind the mesh you put the foam, so it just looked black with a wire mesh in front of it. And then the other thing that turned up, as well as the clear rod, that was a pack of 3 for the clear rods, by the way, and that's the link in the PDF. All these are links from the PDF. I got my cables as well. So I think anything that's left of these may work well on the kids' proton packs. Might be a bit too thin. But anyway. So yeah, this is the cable. You see it's quite thin and it should go in there. And it does. So what I'm going to do is I think I'll do the cables first. So let's take the head off and pop it on top of there. Take that out. Let's take you off and move you over here somewhere. And then let's move you down. Right, and of course I didn't glue this, so I can do that. Now I need to work out how long these need to be, and then I need to cut. How many has he got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14. Okay. 14. And that pushes in quite nicely. And I suppose the question is, how long does it need to be? So it does say in the instructions that these can be straight or you can put like a bit of a kink in them. To be fair, I'm just going to cut them to the rough length and I'm going to let nature take its course on which way around they are. I'm not going to glue these in yet. Likewise, for the same reason, I'm not going to glue in the foam. I need to be able to take these back out in order to paint it. I don't want to have to try and paint around this. So I reckon a pair of scissors will cut this. Probably the worst pair of scissors in the world to do this with, but let's say scissors will cut it. No, they won't. They will cut it. They'll just mangle it in the process. Okay. Let's have a look. Just pop you up in there. There we go. That's just about right for me, I think. So. Which is 6.5 centimeters. So I'm going to cut another 13 of these at 6.5 centimeters, and then we'll pop them all in, see how we look. I say I'm not going to be totally exact because I want some to have some natural bend to them, so it should be close as I can get. There we are, 14 of them, and I've got loads left. Probably enough to do another 2 of these, which is handy because I imagine the kids will probably want one. Right, so let's pop all these in. As I said, I wasn't terribly exact with the length. I noticed that some of these holes are looser than others. So I'm going to push them all into the booster. For some reason, the ones at the rear are a little more tighter. Yeah, a little tighter. I don't know why. There we go. Might be the angle of the cut's actually on the pipe. These ones might be a bit too long. It came from the depths. Right. Let's line this up. I have no idea the best way to do this. Come on. Okay, maybe I can't have too much bend in it. Gone forever. Right. What else is stopping you? I'll tell you what, I've made a nice spring. Why aren't you going in? So you can see what's... There we go. You can see what's supposed to be happening. Maybe 6.5 was too long. No. There we go, there we go. Oh, this is going to be a pain to do up again next time. See how this is supposed to be going. I suppose once it's glued, yeah, I think I need to trim a little bit off. Not much, just a little bit off each one. You watch that one. Okay, that came apart easy than I was really thinking. Yeah, just a little bit off each one, I think. So I'm taking three of the thicker rings off. I've been finding these little bits for weeks now, aren't I? Right, let's try this again.
20 minutes later.
Got there eventually. Yeah, I'm glad they're not glued in, put it that way. Glue would have set long before I would have had a chance to get in the right place. So it's still something pushing it apart slightly. I suspect it's the middle one. No, actually it might be this one. There we go. Thing is, once you get past the initial resistance into the hole, they kind of click in better. There we go. There we go. And I've got that natural bend that I wanted. And I think when it gets glued, I'm going to clamp both sides together and just press it down. Okay. Let's put you back on there. We're done with you for now. Back to the head. So we're just going to cut some. All right, try and cut some wire mesh and just hot glue it in there. Hopefully my glue no. Which one's out of power at the worst possible time? I will not be stopped. Right. That might possibly a rogue wire. Right, okay. Let's look at this mesh. There's not really much to it. It's quite thin. I'm fairly sure this is the same stuff they use on R2's radar that pops out of his radar antenna that pops out of his one of the pie panels. Looks similar. I think I'm just going to roughly cut this. As long as it sits in place, that's fine. Yeah, question is what do I cut it with? Huh. I don't have actually anything to cut it with. Right, this isn't ideal, but it works. Well, let's got all my fingers left. Right, something to bear in mind is that all these holes are not the same size. You've got one there. This one's longer. And this one's back to the same size as the first one. So hopefully my glue gun is warmed up. The other thing to bear in mind is this stuff is sharp. As you cut it. So actually, the glue gun is going to quite nicely sort that out. So I'm just going to lay it up against the back there and put a dab of glue over the cut end. If it'll let me. There we go. I might run a bit more hot glue. This is awkward. Run a bit more hot glue around the top and the bottom. Right. That's one done. I'm going to repeat for the other ones. That was marginally painful. Managed to burn my finger as well. But they're in. So now the last thing to do is pop it on the head. Maybe not do it on top of the pole. one last thing left to do, and that is the aerials. It's just there. Right, it's supposed to be a 4. As I said, this is quite fibrous, so about 4.5. Oh, that's better. That seems better. Need to ream it out a bit more though. The thing is, I can't use a drill on this because it would just rip it to shreds. And the problem is that's only just sitting about 0.5 mil into the end cap. But it's got the right vibe, isn't it? I can drill those out there. They're a bit thicker, as in the material's a bit thicker, so I could probably get away drilling those. I will do that now. Yeah, it works. I think it's a bit loose, but never mind. I think we glued in. Right. Repeat for the other one. Okay, so I just need to put the other end cap on that one. There we go. I like that. That's good. You can see him having a chirpy personality. Sort of cross between R2 and BB-8. So yeah, that's where I'm going to leave it because rain, horrible weather, can't paint, and I haven't got time before the Comic Con. But yeah, this is the EC-1. So something I will do when I get around to painting it is obviously paint it, and that'll be spray putty, sand, spray putty, sand again, and then prime. Color scheme, I might do it the same as my other Pit Droid, which is a black and blue. Put some LEDs in. Might end up putting blue LEDs in rather than red. I don't know. Haven't decided yet. There'll be LEDs in there, and then on the base, I'll paint it, and then afterwards I'll come back with some really thin, 0.5 mil styrene, put it underneath, and then maybe get an LED ring that put different colours going around there, and have a battery in there. There'll be a battery in there for the head. Yeah, there'll be a battery in here for the headlights. So yeah, I'm really pleased with that. That was quite a quick one, relatively, ignoring the problems I had. So yeah, trying to get out of the way of the lights. There we go. Right. So I hope you enjoyed that, and there was my little friend here. Yeah, hope you enjoyed that, and say I might do a follow-up video when the weather gets better, so you look at next summer really, or I paint him, or I might just paint him, see if there's any interest. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.